We are going to be making the Eden dress by Retro Sparkle Designs. This pattern is intended for both woven and knits and goes from newborn to 16 youth. Here is all the pattern pieces laid out. You will have a back piece, 2 lining pieces, a placket piece if you are doing woven, and I already ironed my stabilizer on, a front top, a front bottom, 2 sleeves, and your ruffle piece. We're going to start with prepping the ruffle piece. We're going to hem the straight edge. You can do a lettuce hem. Here I am folding it up about 1/8 of an inch and then folding it up again another 1/8 of an inch so that way it does not fray. Then I'm going to sew the length of that straight edge. Next, we're going to gather the top with your preferred gathering method. And we're going to set that to the side. Next, we're going to work on the front of your dress. So here I have the front bottom and the front top. Here I'm just showing where the sleeves line up and then where the shoulder seam lines up. We're going to take that ruffle piece that you just got done and we're going to clip it all along the bottom of the dress, right sides up. So they are both right side up. Then we're going to take the top part of the dress and lay it right side down on top of that ruffle and on top of the bottom of the dress. Then we're just going to clip that in place, and once it is all clipped, you can either sew or serge along this edge just so the pieces are all together. And take your time sewing on this curve, making sure you get all 3 layers. Then we are going to top stitch that ruffle down. Next, we're going to take that front piece and lay it right sides up and take your back piece and lay it right side down. And we are going to clip the shoulders together. Once those are both clipped, we're going to sew them together. Then we are going to take our lining pieces and lay them right sides together. Once those are clipped, then we can sew those shoulders together. Here is how your dress should be looking with just the shoulder seams sewn together. We're going to take that liner and place it right sides together on top of that dress, and we're going to line up the shoulder seams first. So those are lined up. We're going to find the middle back and the middle front and add a clip so that way we can sew it. And once you have your neck piece all clipped, then you can sew. Just make sure you take your time sewing that neckline. Now that our liner and our main piece are sewn together, we are going to top stitch your liner down. So you're going to fold your dress up and top stitch all along your neckline. Then we are going to work on the sleeves, and here I made 2 little notches which are on the pattern, and we're going to gather from one notch to the other. Repeat for the other sleeve. Then we are going to attach it to our dress. I like to attach one edge of the sleeve and then the other edge of the sleeve and then adjust my ruffles on the inside just so I know that there's no overhang or anything on my sleeve whenever I go to sew it onto the dress. And then repeat for the other side. And then we are going to hem both the front and the back liner pieces. I just ran this under my serger, but you can also fold up and then top stitch it down. Next, we are going to work on the placket piece. Grab your marker or your piece of chalk, and we are going to go down about 5 inches from the neckline and make a straight line with your piece of chalk or your marker. Then you can make a horizontal line about 1 inch long at the bottom of your vertical line. Then we are going to take our placket piece, and I'm just ironing up about 1/4 of an inch on each side, so that way whenever I go to sew it on, it stays flat. Then I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to clip it all the way down just so I get a straight cut on this piece. I'm going to clip it and then I'm going to lay it on my board and I'm going to cut it exactly in half. So that way I have 2 placket pieces. Once that is cut, I'm going to lay them on top of each other with the opposite sides opening. So one side will open one way and the other side will open the other way. And then I'm going to take those two pieces and lay them on top of that line, that horizontal line that I made. And I'm going to sew across the top and sew this placket piece in place. Once that is sewn, I will cut on that vertical line. Then I'm going to cut all the way down that vertical line until I hit that horizontal line that I made. And then I'm going to cut kind of at a diagonal to the very edge of my placket piece. Then I'm going to take one placket piece and line it up to my neckline. And I'm going to cut off the extra, leaving about 1/4 of an inch from the neckline. Then I'm going to repeat this process with the other side, moving that other placket piece out of the way so I don't cut it. Then I'm going to take my placket piece and place it right sides together with that little overhang of that 1/4 of an inch, making sure that whenever you sew it, that little overhang is still there. You're not going to sew it straight across, otherwise your fabric could potentially fray, and it also won't sit as good on your dress piece. Once those are clipped, then you're just going to sew across the top. Then we're going to take the placket piece that is closest to the dress, and we are going to put the dress piece in there. You kind of have to adjust it and making sure that it doesn't have like little wrinkles in it. And we're going to sew along both of these edges. So we are only sewing the side that is open. Then we are going to take our dress and put it right sides together and start sewing up these sides, starting with your sleeve and your underarm, and then those two lining pieces, and then your dress. Once those are all clipped, sew and do the same for the other side. Then we are going to take the bottom of our dress and we are going to fold it up about 1/8 of an inch and then fold it up again on itself so that way it does not fray. And then we are going to sew all along the bottom. You can either do a lettuce hem or just a regular hem on there. And then we are going to do the same thing for both of the sleeves. Fold them up and then fold them up again so they don't fray. And then your dress is almost finished. You just have to do your back piece. I actually had ran out of snaps and I don't have any buttons. But on the Hadley romper, I did do an in-depth tutorial on how to apply the open ring snaps. Once you apply your buttons or your snaps, then your dress is finished. Join the Facebook group for any other questions you may have.